how do you encourage people to engage in politics while being a person of faith?
A question of stewardship. That is, we've been given freedom. We've been given abundance. If you took the income, the GDP of 2 states, California and New York, it's greater than all the Middle East, the 56 countries of Africa, everything combined. Now, we have been entrusted with that. Unless we maintain it, unless we pay attention to it, we're going to stand before God to give account. That's what we have with our country.
All right, here with Bob McEwen. You've spent so much time in DC. And obviously, a lot of people like to coin it as a swamp. They like to coin it as a place that is just unbiblical. It's a place where you don't see faith seem to thrive that much. But
it's
people
the greatest
don't talk.
nation on earth. It really is. And it's the greatest form of government in the history of mankind. Every government on earth has changed repeatedly since our America was founded. It's the oldest government on earth, one of the youngest countries. And yet nobody's ever, they've had it as a template. They haven't been able to surpass it. This is the nation that protects religious freedom, respects private property. And those that want to tear it down, they have nasty things to say about it. But there are worse things than serving your God and country.
What do those faith conversations look like when you're talking to people that are part of the House, the Senate, people that are in the ear of presidents? You know, what does that look like?
There's a way that you approach the world. And if you approach it man's way always ends up with death. Death to a marriage, death physically, death financially, death spiritually. It's death. Christ said, I'm come that you might have life. America is founded on life. And so in this struggle, there are many, many people that are dedicated to serving the Lord. And in the process of it, they serve in government. And the whole world looks to America for spiritual leadership. We got lots and lots of good people, but we focus only on the negative. You know, if I sent you the newspaper from my hometown for 6 months, you'd think it was a real hellhole. So, because it's all the bad part. There's wonderful, wonderful people in this country. Blesses the world like no other nation on earth. People will do everything humanly possible to get here. Half of all the Jews on the planet come to America because they know that they can get under the canopy of protection of the American flag, they'll be safe. This nation protects life, and as a result, it's been abundantly blessed and a blessing to the world.
So the simple question is, why do people want to give this up then? I mean, because there's been nothing established like this in the history of the world, but it seems like, especially even people that would consider themselves Christians or people of faith, are like, well, you know, I think I can take a couple years off, and then like we'll just get right back to it, right?
That's an excellent question, and the only reason is because they don't know. And so some years ago, they wanted to undo America's founding, so that now you can tell a person that America was founded in 1619, 150 years before George Washington was born, and people will believe it. The New York Times does it over and over. They wouldn't have been able to do that had they not destroyed the educational system to accomplish that. So, like you said, when you know what America is, when you cross the Rio Grande, one side you got beautiful golf courses and the highest standard of living in the world. You have a nation where neither you nor I go to Mexico. We could go in the trucking business or the auto business or anything. Why? Because government is socialism. Government controls those things. So people have no hope. And they want to come to America, where you come here on the first day you're here, you can buy 3 7-Elevens. And so they'll do anything to get here where they have, but the only way you can attack America is for someone in America. Yeah. Because all they have to do is go outside and look at the comparison, and people wouldn't do that. So that's why they want to say America's racist. Look at all the people coming over the border. I was at the border a few weeks ago. Thousands and thousands of people. Every single person that I met was from this nation of Africa. They'd taken everything that they'd had, gotten across the Atlantic Ocean. They'd come up through Central America. Now, if America were so evil, why would they do it? They know what it's like. Some of them were very, very gifted people, educated people. They knew that the only hope was our country. So.
Final question, how do you encourage people to engage in politics while being a person of faith? Because there's a lot of people here, this is the Pastor Summit.
Yes.
So obviously you want to present, hey, this is our founding, here's why you should believe in America and be thankful for America because we're blessed to be here in America. Here's what's being pushed against you, here's the tools and resources. Because there's so many people right now, they're just like, you got to ruffle feathers. This will ruffle feathers, but how do you encourage people specifically from your standpoint to engage in politics from a faith perspective?
A question of stewardship. That is, we've been given freedom. We've been given abundance. America, as I use the example, that if you took the income, the GDP of 2 states, California and New York, it's greater than all the Middle East, the 56 countries of Africa, everything combined. Now, we have been entrusted with that. Unless we maintain it, unless we pay attention to it, we're going to stand before God and say, this is the nation that our daughter spent a year in Rwanda. I was out in the middle of, this is the center of Africa. Back in a place, went across a river on a log, and these little kids were showing up with these little plastic things. I said, where are they going? So they're going to the fountain. The fountain. We finally got to the fountain. The fountain was the only clear water within miles. These people had marched every day. They'd come to get, and what does it say? This fountain, a gift of the people of the United States of America. No nation has blessed the world like this nation does. And if we say we're going to fold our hands and let it go by, I think that any child that's given a wonderful business and a wonderful home and sits around and does nothing with it and lets the thing go to seed, he'll give account. That's what we have with our country, and we're not going to be in that position. And do just like in 1930s, that when the train is on its way to the death camp, stand and sing a little bit louder, because we're not going to stop those Jews going to their death camp. But somehow or other, they think that it's noble to close your eyes to what's happening around you. And what is happening around with the homeless and the spray paint and the chaos is a lack of spiritual understanding. The chaos that comes when people without Christ.
Well, we're blessed by you. So thankful you're part of TPUSA Faith. Thanks, Bob.
Appreciate you, bro.